Hello and welcome to The Regulars. I'm Stacey McGonigal.
My name is Jason DeRoss.
Jason,
Hi.
you back.
I'm back.
You're
I'm
back.
so sorry I missed midweek, especially with such a cool guest.
Do you even know? Okay, first of all, welcome. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm dipping a toe in casualness. Jason, he's coming off a house hunt, so
I'm casual every day, man.
hell yeah.
Casual all the time.
And Audrey just got in the chat. Beloved Audrey, MVP of my friend, my life. Last day of school. So congratulations, teachers.
Oh, wow.
You've done it. I tip my hat. And parents, tomorrow, I guess, is the same. Except no regimented lesson plan from the teachers. And for that, I send my love.
Except no Zoom or anything either. Was I because I assume Audrey she was obviously teaching over Zoom then.
I will say, and I won't go into Audrey's lesson plan, but literally watching her create content, that's where my mind is, to create lesson plans and like how much she did, it was incredible. I feel like those students are in very good hands. She's an incredible teacher, educator, dare I say.
Give it up for teachers. Yeah.
Always and forever. So Jason, and Audrey says, parents, we feel you. Yes, I was doing video conferencing with kids.
Yeah.
She was. Jason, you missed something that had your name written all over it. We had the amazing Two Little Sandwiches. We had some great conversations with her.
Okay, great.
Something was born, and I don't even think you're aware of it. We developed an incredible account on Instagram, a meme account that Jan truly has been creating content for that makes me laugh so hard.
What has happened?
So I got into this, to recap Jay in the chat, I really got into this guy named Gary V. It's like Vaynerchuk.
Okay.
And he is a like entrepreneur, but he's like this no nonsense kind of guy who goes viral on the internet all the time with like inspirational quotes and like business things. You know this guy?
Okay, so we can see exactly why Stacey's on board.
Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, This is our small business. It's our small business. I can hear your stomach going off. Did you have breakfast?
I did.
Okay, well, it's not
Wasn't my
It's
stomach-
not
yeah,
agreeing
yeah.
with you. You're about to shit your pants. And
I think people. I won't cut you off. I just.
Oh,
saw
I
people
know.
Are looking, I
Casual
think people
Friday.
are looking for Mr. Casual Friday.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
We're dipping our toe back into our regular schedule program, but don't worry, the chaos and the amazingness is coming back. So I got really into him, and then as I was explaining Gary V to Jan throughout the entirety of the podcast, she thought I was talking about Gary Busey, and what was born was Gary Busey. It's Gary V quotes on.
I did
photos
see.
of
I
Gary
did see
Busey.
stuff. Yeah.
He
Right.
doesn't care for it. I was explaining it to friends, and they were like, "I guess you had to be there," and I was like, "I guess you did."
No, I saw like a post, and I was like, well, something went down. Gary Busey. I saw that, and it wasn't explained, but
Everyone wants us to phone call Casual Friday.
we're not gonna phone them.
It's not happening. We wish. Listen, you're talking to the only two people on the planet who will phone people without warning them. It's me,
No problem.
and it's Jason, and we do it to each other all of the time. I
Yeah.
think it's our favorite
Why
form
do you
of
need a warning?
communication.
That's your warning. Is their phone ringing? That's the warning. That's the flare shot.
The flare shot. Exactly. To
Yeah.
Breakfast Club it up, it's the flare shot, Jameson said, let's call Gary Busey. And I would if I thought he had a phone. And I don't think he does. I think it's facts or bust when it comes to the Buse.
Oh man. I mean, everyone's a fan of Gary Busey in a weird way.
Are we? I don't know. I think we have to look that up to make sure that's okay. He's something. He's something. But
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't want to get too far into it because there's a reason why he is the way he is. But he's,
he fell.
Yeah.
he actually did.
He was in a motorcycle accident.
He was. I don't mean to laugh.
I think a lot of people don't know this. And Jameson, please back me up because you know everything about everything. But I think in his younger days, he was much more lucid, maybe the word.
Right.
And then and then he was in an accident.
Oh my gosh, I actually feel terrible, but it makes me love Gary Busey even more.
That's the whole thing. That's why I'm like, we gotta love the guy. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone told me that, and they're just like, no, yeah, he's an accident. But like,
Courtney says in the
I need
chat.
Jameson's help.
Courtney in the chat says we named the neighborhood stray cat Gary Busey. Listen, you know, here on the pod, if you listen to our lovely conversation with Gracie Carroll, we really dive deep into what we think is the best pet names. I go for human names every day of the week, even though my dog's name is Burger. But like, I think that that's the only real exception here.
Yeah, Jameson said that there was a joke missed on Wednesday because he made a helmet joke.
Jameson, see, you're too smart, you know? You know, I gotta get smarter. That's why I'm, you know, deeply linked to Audrey, who's the smartest person I know, you know? So, how many drinks does Jason have on the go? Wow, Jen,
but I always have like a whole bunch of drinks on the side here, getting ready, you know?
Can I tell you?
Especially on Fridays, you got 2 cocktails, you got your water, you got your coffee.
We didn't do a cocktail today, but what do you have? You got coffee going? Is that a drink? You didn't even tell me we were going to have a drink. I have gin.
Yeah, no judgment.
What is that?
Soda water. It's just soda water.
What the hell is it?
It's just soda water.
Is it actually?
Audrey's got a Caesar. Thank God.
Oh, damn. Shit. Fuck. Damn. I would have had a Caesar.
Too late.
It's too late. I am planning on getting some of my white wine spritzers for the weekend. I've just decided to really have a weekend. I like need it. I'm sure like I'm feeling emotional these days. I know it's probably because like my period's like, hey Linda, are you ready for us yet? So I'm just gonna have a nice decadent backyard weekend.
Yeah. That's perfect. That's what we need right now.
Shayla says she missed us. The feeling's mutual.
Big time.
Jason's in the midst of like potentially like moving around, so he's now shaking his head. He doesn't know yet. It's up in the air.
Well, we just had to talk about it. There's a reason why, but yeah. Although I moved yesterday, you know what? Got out of my house yesterday. Went to the old LA Zoo.
Oh, sorry.
It's not an actual zoo. I went to the old one, the one that's like abandoned.
Okay, then that's fine because there's nothing more. And like, listen, I'm not judging if you go to the zoo. I just like, I remember as a child being very sad about it. I took my nephew to the museum. He saw stuffed animals. He also didn't enjoy that they were behind glass and they were already dead. He was like, when do they get to go home? I had a soft cry in the bat cave. It's tough for me.
Yeah. I'm going through that a bit right now, spilling things to Charlie because for Father's Day, which came and went,
it came and was celebrated. She got you deodorant. No, kidding.
She did get me a book about the Mamba mentality. It's this Kobe Bryant book because I used to like Kobe Bryant play basketball, and I liked the way he played basketball. We're not going to get into it deeper than that. But so he bought me a book, and Charlie loves basketball right now because he loves Michael Jordan.
That's awesome.
And then he started going through the book and he's like, Michael Jordan. And then he really got into Kobe and he's like, hey, Dad, can you take me to see Kobe Bryant play basketball?
Oh, did you have a soft cry?
No, but I was like, is this when I have a talk about deaths with my son now? Is this how we do go about doing it?
You know, I'll say this, and like we don't need to get too deep into it, but I remember when my grandmother passed, who truly was the love of my life. My nephew like was very young, maybe like 2.
I was about to say, I hope people didn't explain it to you then because we knew each other then. Like you were a full grown.
Oh, I didn't know what death was. I didn't know what death was at 31. I was like, where'd she go? She went to the store. No. No. I was more offended that I didn't get an immediate haunt. I was like, who are you fucking partying with up there? What's that? What's that about? What's this?
I noticed you said immediate because she did come visit in ways eventually. But I said to her in this house, I was just talking to her, you know, because I've gone full quarantine. I was just like, where, honestly, not to swear, but I was like, Nanny, where the fuck are you? Hello? Well, she's got a lot of people. She probably met a lot of people in her life.
I know, but I'm saging around going, what the hell do you need? Get over here.
Is a sage like a flare gun? Is that like the phone ringing? It's like, hey. Calling.
Hey.
Pick up the phone.
I mean, kind of. I'm like, hey, I'm like making room. Get over here.
Pick up your heaven phone. Let's talk.
I honestly, okay, I am going to purchase a burger camera because what is happening is nuts right now. I wish you could see his face. It's absolutely unbelievable. What do you want from me? Anyways, my nephew was like, where did, like, he called her Gigi for great grandmother. He's like, where did Gigi go? And like he told me this elaborate story, and I think my parents just let him go with it. He was like, Gigi got eaten by a shark, and then the shark went, and then like somehow she got tossed into heaven. And I was like, what? And they're like, just let him. I was like, just let him.
The shark's blowhole, yeah.
I was like, this is the McGonagalls to a T. What do you think happened? I think Gigi got eaten by a shark. Sick. All right. You want some pierogies? Like it was like, and done.
Don't have to deal with that.
I was like, wait till he goes to school and show and tell. Well, I have nothing to show, but my great grandmother.
Parent teacher comes in and it's like the parent, so sorry to hear about your mom getting eaten by that shark.
Yeah. My dad would always joke that he didn't have an ass because it got blown off in the war, and I told that at a show and tell. And my teacher was like, I had no idea your dad was in the military. And my dad was like, you said what? And I was like, you've been saying it.
Oh man.
Anyways, long walk, but here we are.
At a beautiful park.
I hope that was
what else did I miss on Wednesday other than Gary? Did you make up the Gary Busey or Gary? Did you just call it?
It's Gary Busey because it's Gary V inspirational quotes on top of photos of Gary Busey.
Perfect.
Yeah, and Jan has been creating them, and let me tell you, she is a vision. A vision. No, it was really great because we were talking about, building a business, building the brand, getting yourself out there, the vulnerability of putting yourself out there. And, Gary Vee says a lot of reasons people don't start projects or start hobbies or start the thing that they want to do, that they've always thought about doing, is because we have that insecurity. It's not like, when we're like, oh, we shouldn't do that, or I don't know. And it's because you don't actually know what you want to say. Because when you know what you want to say, you want to do.
This is going back to The Secret and everything. This is creating visions, creating goals, know what you want, go get it.
Well, no, because it's like, when you're like, I should be on Twitter. Like, I should be like telling jokes on Twitter. And then you get on Twitter and you're like, it's because you don't really know. You're trying to force it.
Mm-hmm.
Kayla also says she hopes Gary Busey takes off. I agree. I agree. Oh my God. Can you not hear yourself gurgling?
No, I can't.
It's the Friday gurgle.
Is my stomach going nuts?
Yes.
Maybe it's not my stomach. Maybe
I just got a notification that Jameson has followed Gary Busey, so he's getting on the bandwagon.
Oh, great! What are you doing this weekend?
Okay, what am I going to do this weekend? Well, probably stay at my house. If I have to venture out, wear a mask. No, this is such a boring, is this even content? But like, I have to go buy like essentials. That sucks. It's like the bra and underwear of like food and drink. When you have to buy butter and you're like, oh, this is $9.
I don't know, man. Like I got a few pairs of underwear. I'm like sick.
I just feel like even as a kid, like bra and underwear was just like not a fun. I was like, who even freaking cares about this? Shauna, I want to say I do. Yep. Shauna followed Gary Busey immediately. Loved it. Appreciated it. And Melissa, thank you for the support on Gary Busey.
And Jen's here.
Yeah. Thanks for the Gary love, everyone. We must. Yeah. Also, I want to tell you something that I have discovered. You didn't even ask me about my weed soda water. I can't even believe I haven't even been asked about that.
Well, I didn't know that you didn't you went and purchased this and you have it, and I don't know these things.
I texted you.
Oh, I didn't get a text from you.
Okay, well, this makes a lot of sense because I was like, what is up with Jason? Like, I sent you a photo of me with the water. Oh,
Did not get it.
okay. So I've already explained this to Jen, but I will explain it to you.
We've had texting problems in the past. There's something going on.
There's something going on, but I think it's whenever I attach a video or a photo, like it just doesn't
Yeah.
send.
The
Okay.
iPhone Android thing just is like, nope, sorry, not today.
Yeah. So I had my weed soda water. Wonderful. Wonderful experience.
Oh, great.
It's a soft and mild sort of like high. And I didn't even feel high until like a soft breeze came through my window and I was like, amazing, sweet relief.
And then you're like, my window's closed.
Yeah, and it's just Burger going.
Maybe it was your grandma. She was like, hi.
Fanning me.
You called?
Yeah.
Marijuana water? Thank you.
Thank you. I love it. I'm glad I left heaven. Anyways, it was like a very mild, and you know that I don't like to be that high, and it was such a like relaxing thing. I highly recommend.
So no like couches talking to you, no vortexes opening up in your hallway.
Although I bet you if I had 2 of those, there's something about like I don't really like edibles. I'm talking as if I smoke a lot of weed, but I don't. But you know what I mean? Like your body just feels so strange.
I had a friend one time that was doing that. Oh, I'm not going to get this right. Is it sativa or sativa? No,
Yeah,
that's
sativa's
a type
like
of weed.
sativa's
No,
like that.
I'm talking about
indica.
Nope. Not weed. What was that stuff that was like everyone for a while was like it's legal,
Oh,
but then they
it's
were stevia? Nope, that's sugar.
Stevia, salvia.
Salvia. Because I had a friend that did that and literally like tried to jump into the middle of a vortex on the floor in his thing, and I was like, that's stupid. That's stupid.
You could buy that at the gas station, if I remember correctly.
I know.
Yeah.
Like imagine the people that were like, oh, I'm just gonna walk out of here and like drive my car. I'll just smoke this first because I got at a gas station, and then they driving down the highway and you see a vortex open up or something. That's insane.
It's never been like, not to go down like the drug talk, because like I've just never really dipped the toe because I was barely making friends that I didn't need another factor. Like
Yeah.
I like if anyone was doing like cocaine or anything, or like coke as the cool kids called it, like first of all I never saw it, but then the idea of it for me, because seeing it on TV or seeing a friend
the idea
on
for
it,
me is like an 80s after school special.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of those drugs, and I'm just like, that's crazy. That's that.
yeah, I just
The
thought
cool guy that's wearing like a blazer and no shirt, and like that's the guy right there.
totally. Or they're like, oh, it gives you the opportunity to tell your ideas, and I go, that's why I have a lonely life, because there's no buffer there. I'm telling everyone my ideas. Like, you're not listening to anyone. You just can't wait to speak. I'm like, yeah, man, since birth, I don't need a push.
Yeah.
I already wear blazers, man. Pastels, give them to me. Like the whole idea of it, I'm just like, I can't. So it really
Yeah,
makes
you
me.
would have killed it in the 80s. You'd have been great.
Oh my gosh. My sexuality in the 80s would have been unparalleled. I just am, you know what I mean? Can you hear Charlie scream counting?
I can. You can hear me. She's yelling numbers, so I can tell you what's happening, even though I'm not out there. Jenny's on one of her Skype like workouts, so he's probably like behind her doing like 1, 2, 3.
You know what? I need Charlie to help me get through my workouts, because I would
He's just a
really
motivator, man. That's what he does.
Okay, hold on a second. Oh, I literally thought a guy was peeing in front of my thing. He was just standing in front of. Weird. Oh. You know, when like you catch people, you're like, "What are you doing?" Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love Charlie as a
Have you figured
motivator.
this out yet? No. I know
What?
it's different in Canada right now because, as you've seen, like the numbers for COVID in California and the states in general is like ridiculous.
Skyrocketing.
But like when we go out to go like house hunting or like go to a park or something like that, the one thing that's the impossible dream is like restroom breaks. Because I'm not going to a public washroom right now, and I'm not going to walk into a place, and most places are closed.
Right.
And like, so what do you do?
Well, here's the
How do we
thing.
figure this out?
Here's the thing. I wouldn't know, because I'm a camel and I just like never have to pee to a point of absolute concern. But then when I do,
I'm the opposite. I think I'm taking your peas then, because like
Yeah.
every 5 minutes I'm like, well, there I go again.
But then when I do pee, TMI, I'm just like, am I just denying myself? I'm like, I'm peeing forever. So I don't really know what's happening to my body, but it's always been that way. yeah, there's been a lot of backyard peeing in like the social distance hangs I've had, or running home. I had a dear friend of mine have to go home and, take a shit
Yeah,
and run
take care of
home.
business.
Yeah. So tough. Yeah.
But in LA, you can't really do it because wherever you go is going to be a half-hour drive away. So you're like, well, what am I going to do now?
Well, here's the thing. That's the problem. That's one of the main reasons I didn't like LA is because you always had to like go to a place. It's not like in Toronto. Like after the podcast today, I'm going to take the dogs for a long walk. I'm going to go run and pick up my errands. It's like, but
everything is in like foot distance almost.
Yeah, LA's like, well, I got to go to this one strip mall, and then I got to go to this other strip mall, and then I'm
In
going to
the
go to
valley.
this other strip mall that looks like a park, but when you peel back the greenery, it's another strip mall, and then I got to
Yeah.
go there. So it's not for me. What are you laughing at?
Kayla said she went to LA once for a day and was naive about how much she could cover in a day.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what? I don't know where to. I wish I skipped Hollywood Boulevard. Yes, of course.
Oh, my God. Please never go to Hollywood Boulevard.
Anybody
It is
come
the
to LA
saddest.
and why it's like a world-renowned tourist attraction, I will never
Beyond
know.
me. I think it's because celebrities live there, and it's like, but they live.
But they don't live there.
No, they don't live in LA.
I mean, they don't live under their stars.
No.
It's insane. Because I used to be there like nightly or whatever, because the Second City's on Hollywood Boulevard down
Ugh,
here.
Gross.
It was like you would leave and it would be, it's already late at night because we've already done a show and there's still like families with young kids pushing strollers around. I'm like, what the fuck are you? But they're walking by as people like, I don't know, smoke crack and yell at them. And I'm like, well, this is
it's not
this is as beautiful as Niagara Falls,
Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Although Niagara Falls, same thing, man.
Same
The
thing.
falls is beautiful, but then like, the rest of it's pretty much.
Jan really encapsulated LA, which is sexy Mississauga. Because there's a place in Ontario called Mississauga, and it's very much that. Yeah, no, it's just like not the place. And like you do see so many families, or when I was living there, that we'd be walking down Hollywood Boulevard because you're looking at like the stars, like and you just see their faces of like, when you're trying to have a good time. It's like every New Year's Eve, like, on New Year's Eve party you go and you're like, I should be having a good time. And then you're like, but I'd rather not see anyone here. I'd rather be home in pajamas and in bed by 1. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't. New Year's sucks.
New Year's
However,
sucks. So
it
you agree
sucks.
with me. Don't say no. You get what I'm saying.
But even though like it sucks, I don't know if I've been at a party on New Year's and been like, I wish I was home. I mean, like, I think maybe this about me too, though. Like, if there's a party going on, I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to get home to get in bed. Well, maybe now because I'm just a piece of old
first of all,
garbage
I know
now,
if you were at a party now, you'd be like, I'm staying awake. And everyone's like,
Hell
you
yeah.
think you should go to bed? And you'd be like,
It's
jumping
happening
off the
tonight.
bluffs. Tonight's the end.
But like, I don't know. Do you remember, this is way off topic, but do you remember where you were on New Year's? I mean, you were probably like, 8,
I'm
but
so
New Year's
young.
for Y2K?
With my parents. Like, I was like in grade 8.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I was with my parents. And I will tell you, though,
I was at my retirement party.
my parents do know how to party. Because it's
Yeah.
all about the beverages. It's all about the snacks. Even as kids, like,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my parents' parties like that, especially when you're younger and you like creep downstairs to try to like, we would have missions to see if we can get under the table and we could try to steal some of like the rolled up sandwiches or whatever they were.
Oh,
like the
listen,
finger
there was no
sandwiches.
rules. Like there was no rules. So if they had parties, we were at the party, like eating snacks.
Yeah.
But they'd be like, hey, go watch a movie. Like, take whatever you want. It was like the best snacks. Yeah. What?
I don't know. I just love those parties, but I'm also reading everyone's talking about their one day and everyone's like, we were there for a bit. LA sucks.
LA sucks. It does.
LA is great for some reasons, but it's also like
For
it's
some
got its
reasons,
ups and
it's
got its
amazing.
downs.
You can go hiking every day. Like all the outdoor aspects of LA is
Are
beautiful and incredible. And the fact that you
Yeah.
can access that at any point is amazing. The inside facts, the inside resources of LA is what's daunting, depressing, and horrifying.
Yeah.
Isolation, never succeeding.
And stuff in the States in general. So to all our listeners that are in the States, which is a lot of you, like healthcare is great. Universal healthcare is great.
mean, it's problematic, but it's great to know if I break my tooth, I can get it fixed.
It's great. Living here, it's like, it's crazy what you go through here in the States. You guys are nuts. But
Yeah, it feels like you're just really going through it. Kayla says she
I
loves
know I'm bringing
listening.
up like yeah, fun topics, you know?
Oh no, but listen, we can't all be fun all the time. But Kayla says she loves listening to the grown-ups at parties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, my parents were always loud, so it's like I was just hearing it all the time. But like, it was always weird when my parents were like, "Our friends are coming over," and we'd be like, "Who? Our friends?
Yeah,
Who are
you start to
they?"
think of that sometime, and you're like, because now that I'm grown up, I remember a few of like the pairings my friends had, my parents had
Oh
as
yeah.
friends, and I'm like, whatever happened to old Wolf? You know?
Exactly. Exactly. I remember one of my dad's friends just disappeared. And I was like, "Haven't you followed up?" And he's like, "Eh." I'm like, "Where is he?"
My dad showed me a picture once of him at his wedding, and his best man. I was like, I don't know who that guy is, and he's like, yeah, we
Exactly.
kind of stopped hanging out after the wedding. Like that's how everybody is after their wedding. Like the best man is like, well, this is the
Yeah.
like
Who
I
was?
still love the guy that was best man at my wedding, but I don't see anybody because I'm in Los Angeles. But
But you're like, but your kids can be like, "Who is that?" And you're like, "Well,
my dad's best man, his name was Dino, and I was
hell
like,
yeah."
at the time,
See,
my only reference was like the Flintstones, and I
I,
was like, that's crazy.
there's got to be a point where you start having kids and then you just look at your friends and you just evolve, right? Where it's like, Dino can't come along. Dino's a Saturday friend.
Dino's trying to give my kid marijuana soda water, so like this can't happen.
Sounds like Dino cares. Because let me tell you what's going to happen with that weed soda water. You're going to have a soft time. Okay? You're going to be comfortable. You're going to drift. I literally was, okay, there's so much YouTube drama right now. Like, I get into like these weird subgroups. My favorite thing is to like get into like these niche communities on YouTube and like get into the dramas because it's just
Yeah.
fascinating to me. And
I don't want to cut your story off, but I need to cut your story off for 1 second.
oh my God.
Because Haley's dipping in and out, and Haley's a great friend of the community.
Oh,
And
we
it's her
love
birthday,
Haley.
so she won't hear this otherwise.
Happy birthday, Haley. She's always in the chat. She's just the best.
Yep.
Happy
But
birthday.
She's gotta go brunch it up.
Jameson says he had many a night as a kid being woken up to Supertramp or some or some such band and screaming because someone ganged up on someone else playing Risk. Oh wow. I can't imagine my parents.
I don't think my parents had a Risk board at the party.
Can you imagine
I
my
don't know,
parents
man.
playing Risk? My mom would punch someone over some wheat. I'll tell you that. What the fuck? I'm not selling wheat. I do that at the grocery store every day. This is bullshit.
I wonder what Charlie's gonna say of us too, because like we started at him at a very, very young age, like crib age. We're like, and we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Toronto, but we're like, well,
Yeah.
we're not gonna stop our lives. And we threw like parties and just closed the door and let him, and he slept right through it.
Well,
So
here's
I'm
the thing.
like,
He's not going to remember it because no one has memories. Like when people go, "I remember when I was 4." I'm like, no, you don't. You remember the stories you were told at 4. You don't remember anything at 4. I hate
or
to
the
tell you.
picture that you see that you
Yeah.
think triggers memories of what you were, because Jenny swears on her life. Well, she did it totally ago that she remembers the day she was born and her sister was holding her. And then she goes, "It might be the picture that I saw, that my picture and she's
You
holding."
think,
Like,
Jenny?
yeah.
I can't even tell you anything about being 22. You think I know about the day I was born? There are sketches.
If you want me to tell you what I did last weekend, I don't
Not
know.
happening, pal.
Check the pictures.
First of all, why are you obsessed with me? First, live your own life. Don't ask me what I'm doing. You worry about what you're doing. There are sketches we did together.
Don't make my
at
memories
Second City.
homework. You know,
Yeah.
I don't need to work to try to tell you a story.
Exactly. I had a friend go, "Oh, I'm doing your sketch at Second City." She was in the touring company, and she goes, "I'm doing your sketch." I go, "Which one?" And she named it. I go, "What?" She goes, "You're the main person in it." I go, "I don't recall." She's like, "The one with the whale?"
Where I'm like, I forgot that existed, and can you remind me how it goes?
Yeah. So you're telling me I can't even remember something from 2015 that I'm gonna remember 1987? No freaking clue. Because I was born in 1986. Don't even remember that year. Blur.
Yeah, I must have been drunk.
Ugh, on milk. Or no, let me say
it was
formula.
The Wolf giving me, or Dino giving me soda weed soda. I can't talk today.
You're fine. I remember
Jameson does says that he's got memories of 2 years old.
Oh, give me a break.
Yeah, I'm calling. Look, Jameson knows everything about everything, but like, except himself.
Oh, yeah.
That's not true. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
He
That's
says it's like
fact.
the memento guy, though. So maybe he's got tattoos, pictures, or something like that all over his body.
Yeah, maybe. When people like, I just can't. I can't relate because I really, it's all a blur. It was all survival until yesterday. That's as far back as I go. It's forward momentum, you know?
Although maybe we do. When I was born in this city outside of Toronto, and we went there once. I went with Jenny, and we looked up the address to like where I was living, and I lived there until I was only 3 years old. And we drove to the house. I was like, "This ain't it. This is
Really?
not it." And I was right. And then we drove down the street. I was like, "That's where I live." And I was right.
Can you fix your throat? I just think if you're going to go down memory lane, can it not sound like you've just chugged milk?
I know. I told you, man, like yesterday I went to a store and like we've been so good about like we're locked in.
Jason's
we don't go
sensitive.
anywhere.
He's very sensitive to air conditioning and.
Well, I went to one of those like, when you go to like I don't know, any of these department stores that are like a Value Village or like whatever, and it just feels musty a little bit, and then you walk out and you're like, oh, I just want to go shower because it felt a little gross. Right now, that's the worst time to do that. So I went yesterday, just because I had to get a certain shirt. We won't talk about that, but and then
I think we will talk about it. It seems weird that you need
I knew as soon as I said that, like that, it's over with. But I left, and then I was like, I had gloves on, I had my mask on the whole time.
Yeah.
I followed the arrows, I did everything, and I was like, I got to get the hell out of here. And then I got out. But now I'm like, today, I'm like, that thing in my throat.
No,
Is
you're
this,
just
is this
sensitive.
the beginning of the end, or
No.
what's happening?
First of all, it takes weeks for it to. I mean, I don't know anything.
No, it can take 2 weeks.
Jason, you're fine. Please.
Okay, I'm just paranoid as F.
Ew! We hate. Burger literally woke up and went. He heard it through my headphones. I'm sure of it. No,
Maybe
you're
that's
fine.
the gurgling you've been hearing the whole time. It's just burger.
No, I know a burger gurgle. I know it. I know it. No, can I tell you? I didn't this is how dumb like I am sometimes. I didn't notice the arrows on the ground for like this is where you should be going until recently, and I was like, I have been doing this all wrong. Many apologies.
You just thought it was like a promotion or something. You're like, no, thank you.
I just thought it was like arrows to where the cash was. I'm so stupid. Watching the old David Copperfield movie, thinking it's about the magician. Not knowing where the arrows are. Snaking
Wednesday,
says
did you guys
bird
mention
camera.
the stoop camera? Because I haven't heard this before, but I'm in.
I'm thinking about.
Or is that
setting
just
up,
about all the people that constantly show up to your front door?
I'm wondering if I can show you Burger on the camera that we use. Like, I don't know. Can you see him?
Jameson said it's not burger, it's burgle. No,
Oh, you can't see him. I don't think.
I can see him.
Isn't he pathetic? Look at that face.
You say pathetic, but I say living his best life.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Anyways, I thought maybe I would be able to show everyone, but I'll do it next week. You'll get a little burger cam. I've set up his little bed beside my desk, and he comes here, and that's where he lays.
It's perfect.
Yeah, this is not interesting at all to anybody, but I will just give an update no one asked for. So Vic, I had to take him to the vet and has like 2 ear infections in his ear. And she was like, you have to do a really deep clean of his ear. And she was like, I just want to prep you that it might be really gross and like a lot of things might come out of his ear. And I was like, sick.
What's a lot of things? Like a suitcase or something?
Debris, dirt, like gunk. You know, when people have like really severe ear clogs and then they like put that and then they have to like flush their ear and then all that wax comes out.
Is that a candling? Because it feels
No.
like do candlings feel fake, right?
No, but yeah, candling is fake. But I remember an ex of mine had a really clogged ear, and like a friend of ours was a nurse, and she was like, oh, you have to buy this. She was like, buy this flusher thing, and it'll
It's called a Q-tip.
No. So it's like a flusher thing and just like, oh, sorry. I mean, I might be making people sick. I can stop talking about it. But anyways, he had to like
Shayla's
flush
not
it.
into the ear thing.
She had to flush it, or he had to flush it. And then he said that it went like it gurgled, and then it went, and all the stuff came out. And I was so jealous. I wasn't the one that was like, I love gross stuff like that, like surgery stuff,
Me
anything.
too. Like, let's be real. We all love popping pimples and blackheads.
Some people
like,
don't. I do. I mean,
who does not love that? Isn't there like a TV show called The Pimple Popper or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then someone likes it.
I mean, a lot of people. But so with Vic's thing, I had to clean his ears yesterday, and I was like, here we go. It's going to be, Gross Town, USA. Here we are. It was fine.
Yeah.
Very clean ears and not much to report back. But, oh, Caleb, barf. Sorry.
But Shayla also said, I was in the room once when my hubby got his ears flushed and I almost vomited.
Yeah, the ear things, it smells like actually so bad, but there's something
What's
really...
a flush though? Like I still like don't get the whole equipment of it.
It's when it's like a little teardrop and you basically are like soaking it with water and like putting it, and it's like a very,
like a turkey
very thin
baster sort of thing.
Yeah, but the baster part is very, very thin. So it can go like really deep into the ear, and then and it goes around the wax, and then out it goes, and then it just goes.
I mean, like, I want to do it now.
Yeah. Imagine the sweet relief.
I also just want to try. It's the same thing with like how I order food. I'm like, I just want to try things. And then I go, well, I guess I experienced it. It sucked.
Punch me in the face. I want to know I've lived.
You know that I did that one time, right?
What?
Outside of the comedy bar. I don't remember this at all. I don't recall this at all, but I woke up and I was like in.
But there was
like,
a picture of it, and you were like, "Then it must be true."
Yeah, and I was like, "I don't know what this is," and then I found out later who it was and everything. But apparently, I was begging a friend to punch me as hard
I remember
as he
this
could in
story.
the stomach.
Yeah, I heard
like
about
Houdini.
that.
I'm like, I'm Houdini, and he's like, I'm not gonna punch you. That's insane.
Well, yeah,
but then another guy came out of the comedy bar. He's like, all right. Like right away was just like, whew. And apparently he's like, he hit me like as hard as he could, but then I doubled over and I like went down to the ground. Someone took a picture of that. That's how I found out about it, other than the pain. But that guy took off, not like running. He was like, I gotta get out of here.
He asked me to do it.
But my friend was like, you begged people to just Houdini you up.
Jason. The onion that is
and
you.
I experienced it, but the problem is it sucked, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, that's like when you're like, yeah, I mean, I was just going to say like, it's just like, you get so, I'm not even going to go into it. It's like, you just like your desire to live at all costs is just concerning to me. Even as a kid, I remember my dad going like, do you want to go to Wonderland or do you want to go to Disney World? And I just went, ugh, the lines. It's just like, as a kid, I was like, we're going to walk all day. We're going to walk.
My orthotics are like 3 years old. They're not going to hold up very well on my arches.
Yeah, my parents used to force me to go on walks. And I was like, this stinks. What are we looking
Jamie
at?
says I have to do the Houdini thing again to make it count, I guess. So I got to remember it.
I'll volunteer.
When I tell you who punched me, because you know this person, you're going to be like, how are you alive?
Oh, wow. I can't wait to know. I remember when this one girl, she didn't know who I was. And I guess like her friend had a problem with me, Kelsey Breeze. And,
let's go through the list of people in your school who did not have a problem with
actually,
you.
I think I didn't. I actually left high school pretty unscathed. I wasn't
okay,
popular.
cool.
I was one of those really hard social groups called the Invisible Ones. And we just were kind of invisible.
Yeah. There's a graphic novel about it for sure.
Is there?
There should be.
I'll write it. But I remember after drama class, I was in grade 9. And the thing about me, like I talk a huge game, but I'm also like, when it comes to like authority or alpha, like people who were in grade 12, I was like, whatever you guys want. Like I was like not asserting any confidence. Like, and that persists to this day. If someone comes in and goes, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, we gotta listen to them. Like I'm just not. Okay. And she came up to me and she's like,
we got to keep you away from cult leaders.
Oh yeah, I know. Listen, I watch those documentaries and I'm like, it would take 2 seconds. It would be them being like, wow, you gotta.
Especially what's his face from the David Koresh one. We'll keep you away from him for sure.
Oh,
do you know who I'm talking about? The actor that you're like, what's his name?
Oh,
Taylor Kitsch.
Kitsch. well, that's a tragedy. But if Taylor Kitsch was, starting something cool, give me a call. But this girl after drama class comes up to me and goes, "Hey, do you know who Stacey McGonigal is?" And kind of like botched my last name. And I was like, "What?" Like, thank God I just was like always just kind of trying to avoid trouble. And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Yeah, like my friend, like I didn't even know who this person was that was like not having me. She was in my drama class." And she was like, "I'm going to beat her up." And I was like, "I wish I could help you, but like, I'll let you know if I see her. Like, get her." Just doubled down.
There she is.
There she is. I think I was just being the most in drama class. So,
Drama class is when I kind of found myself a bit.
Oh, 100%. Well, drama class was when I was like, "You're telling me I can lip sync for my independent study?" I'm like, "No problem." That's welcomed here because I've been trying to pass it off in history class for like the full semester.
Yeah. It was like, well, improv, everything's made up. And I'm like, so I can say whatever the fuck I want? Okay, let's go.
Oh, yeah. Did I ever tell you that my geography teacher, who was truly the worst, she was convinced that I plagiarized a geography test because it was one of the first tests in high school I really studied for, and I got a 98%, and she called me a fraud. And my mom had to go and yell at her. My mom let her have it.
We had that too with my geography teacher because
What's with them? It's a map. How tough
I don't know.
is geography?
Well, I mean, in her defense, like I was a absolute terror.
Yeah, so was I, but that doesn't mean we didn't study once.
Me and my friend Ryan, who was the best man at my wedding, we did our independent study project together because got to do it in pairs, and you had to do it like you had to basically hand something in that was like, I'm going to show you that I know about. It was like you're supposed to go on like a 7-day tour and pretend like you're introducing people to a country in Europe. And you're like, this is a 7-day tour, and you're going to talk about each little city that you went to. And we just made a video of us sword fighting in a bar, and we handed it in too late. So she gave us a -70 because we just assumed England was like sword fighting in a bar.
I mean, that's insane.
We did a whole, I mean, like that's back when we had a big camcorder and like we had to do it on VHS and hand in a VHS tape. And we're just like, this is great.
You don't need to convince me twice about using a camcorder. I got grounded many a time for stealing the family camcorder. I loved it. It's great.
Yeah.
No, but it is sort of crazy. I do think about, and not to say that like, I mean, I'm wondering if Audrey's still listening, but my high school wasn't like, I don't think I left really knowing much. And I don't know if that says anything about my attention span or.
Should I be playing like the last song in Dazed and Confused during this?
I mean,
recollection of your high school years?
I'm not going to kid you. And I'm wondering if Audrey would jump in on this. But basically, our science teacher like gave up and basically asked Audrey to be our teacher. And she was like, fuck
yeah, you said that.
But like, like the fact that that was an option for this man is to be like, this student knows more. Anyways, pretty sick.
I'd imagine like with those things, sometimes it's like, I want to be a gym teacher so bad. That's all I know. And they're like, well, science is open. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. You apply for those positions. So it's like people who went to school for certain subjects are not able to.
My first like real job, I think it was in advertising. I mean, I had other smaller jobs before that, but like, so what happened was I was working at this magazine, and then the lady that was the sales was like, you should go work at advertising, because I was like, yeah, I want to be in commercials. I want to write commercials. I want to do that kind of stuff. So I went to this agency she hooked me up with, and they're like, they make you write like, it's basically an IQ test, because they're like, we just want to see like where you're at first.
Where'd you land?
And I wrote it. And then I went into HR for the very general sort of, I was almost going to call it an audition, but like you go in and you start talking, and then they're like, what do you want to do with the company? I was like, well, I love it all. Like I want to write spots. I mean, if I could be in front of the camera, because I was so young, dumb, and naive. And they go, we don't do any of that here. We're media buyers and media planners. And what that means is we just buy space and plan out campaigns. And I was like, she could see it on my face. I was like, oh, fuck. But in the end, they go, but we're going to offer you a job because you scored higher than anybody ever has on our IQ test.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would be terrified to take an IQ test, like quite truly. Like it's making me sweat.
It's not
just
a
thinking
real
about
IQ test, but it's one of those like general like they're like, great, if this is a problem solving thing, like this is what you get out. And math and stuff like that. Those things I loved, like problem solving math stuff. I was like, I love that shit. I don't know why, but anyways, that's how
Wow.
I got my first job and ended up in a career that went nowhere.
You made tons of money for a bit, and that's pretty great.
I was drunk watching the Raptors a lot. Yeah, because people are like, want to go to the Raptor game?
Oh.
Yeah, all right.
Media buyers, the people that I know that are media buyers, they love to party.
I know, and apparently I was in one of the heydays before everything went down, and they were like, the economy got bad, and they're like, well, it's not the parties anymore, because it used to just be like, if you wanted to party one night, it was like you could party. It was kind of nuts. Like I probably would be dead if I would have stuck to that career.
I mean, you basically stuck to the same career called comedy, and I think you're okay.
I mean, yeah, then I started going to work in bars.
We just worked in bars and had to be funny. You had to keep your wits enough. Just keep the show going.
Yeah, until halfway through the show, and then it's like,
Oh
great.
my gosh, yeah.
Because at Second City, they were like, they would take the money directly out of your paycheck at one point, and you're like, who can get their paycheck down to zero by the end of the week?
I didn't work during that time.
Oh, so that changed while I was there then.
Yeah. Question number 7. Can you take a heavy punch to the gut? Wow. I don't think I could. Like, not that we're even like posing that question. Like, I don't think I could take a hit. Like, it would be like if I puke like out of sickness or whatever. Well, that would be the only time. But like even if I rarely have been sick over drinking, rarely. But even then, there's no like rally. Like I'm done. If I puke because I'm sick, I'm also crying. Like I bawl my eyes out when I puke, even by myself. It's so sad. If I was punched, no.
Oh, I don't think I went in and partied after that. I think that was like at 3 a.m. sort of thing. No, people were leaving. But
you know when you see movies, and I know that it's obviously fake, but when someone's like, ugh, like a punch, and they're like, ugh, and then they fight back, I'd be like, oh my God, ouch.
Oh, yeah.
Owie, ouch, ouch, ouch. Ouch, ouch. My tummy.
Yeah, man, like the idea of actually hitting things is like...
We should do that as a sketch where like you get punched and it's like, ow, and like everything stops. There's no fight.
We should just be two coworkers going to take like a kickboxing class. And just
we're like, ow, oh my God, ouch, ouch, ouch. The class was $25. We're like, ow, what? Ouch, ouch. Owie.
Oh, we got to film that.
Yeah. Can our instructor's name be Chriselle? I'm really on a Selling Sunset kick, and I'm loving the name Chriselle.
The thing is, right now, people are seeing how we actually come up with sketches, and they're going, well, that's not that funny. How does that become funny?
Well, we think it's funny, and that's enough. I just see you and I having to kick each other and be like, ow, don't. You're upset because I'm taller than you?
You're not taller than me.
I am taller than you. I can't hear it any other way. Please tell us in the chat, and if you're listening to this, just vote on our Instagram who is taller.
Stacey and I are both 5'6.5", is what both are.
Snake King gave us the best poll quote. I can see the humor.
I'm putting that in my bio because then I get to market Snake King.
I can see the humor.
Snake King, watch out because you're going to be quoted on my website by the afternoon.
On my website. Oh my God. Well, that's the really funny thing, and that this is like kind of out of left field, but when you bring up your website, I also laugh every time you send an email because you've attached your headshot to your email signature.
I know.
And every time you send me an email, I go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I know.
Take it out.
Well, this is a whole other thing. I started doing that like a couple months ago because I was being introduced to a lot of...
You had hit
inside baseball, but I was being introduced to a lot of casting directors. I'm like, they're not going to remember who I am. And a lot of people do that. They just put a little like thumbnail of their...
Listen,
their
it's not wrong.
And I did it for like a couple months. It's still probably on there as a signature, but...
Well, it is because I just brought it up. And I don't think it's wrong. I just laughed. I went, oh, he's hit peak LA. And I did
Well,
too.
you don't know, nobody knows who you are down here. And so you have to be like, well, this face, remember this one?
I
You
know.
saw we met and you're like, I like you.
But
And then you're
it's
like, great.
just funny to get an email from your friend and their headshot is in their signature. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'll start attaching mine.
Great.
It's just me in this outfit.
Except
going,
yours is going to be like full Barbara or something.
yeah. The pandemic.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Very 80s. In the 80s, I would have like, in the 80s, that picture that I've posted of the pandemic, like my husband would be rich. He'd be like, we'd have a huge house, you know,
Yeah.
big pool.
Definitely a pool with like those metal lawn chairs that have like the bands instead of like anything. It was just like those plastic bands down the middle of them.
I would just be wearing like bejeweled flip flops.
Do those lawn chairs exist anymore? Where it's just like,
they're
do you know
expensive.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they're expensive now. Which
they are. They just seem like they're the
least
the 80s.
Comfortable, and they're terrible. Yeah. And when you would get sunburnt, you'd have the lines.
Well, why are you lying underneath the chair?
No, I would lie on the chair, but our version of patio furniture was a bit cheaper, so when you would lean back, it would really separate. You know, it's like, oh, we're taking a bit, we're taking a bit, and then it would, yeah.
Going back to me and Ryan, at one time I remember we suntan lotioned baseball jerseys on ourselves. We got the suntan lotion and just like drew baseball jerseys and lighter in the sun.
Oh my! So you had a
we
red
just
body?
watched Field of Dreams and we're like, this is the coolest thing ever.
So wait, did you just like do suntan lotion until here? So you had like a burn, or did you?
What you do is you get the lotion and you don't rub it in at all. You just put the stream. So we drew like where it was old time. It was Field of Dreams. So it was like the old timey baseball jerseys where they'd have buttons up the middle. And it was like, so you had to draw this and this. And then we drew like, it was the Dodgers or the Sox or whatever one of the original. And we drew the icon on our chest and we're like.
And you got burnt except for those white lines.
Yeah.
And what did your parents say?
It's par for the course when you're a kid.
You would have been grounded. You would have been grounded.
I'm sure my parents were like, hey, that's a interesting thought.
I would ground you and I would remove every fun thing from your room. I would put it in my room. And then I would make you watch me play all of your games. Actually, you should do that when Charlie's a teen and he's such an asshole. You should take
We need you to put out a parenting book.
Yeah, and we really want to enforce that I don't have children, but I do like just like a soft manipulative punishment.
I just want to know the whole thing about, it's good. You should put out like some sort of not satirical, but like just funny, stupid book of like parenting tips.
Oh, here's some like if I had a kid, like I know it's complex, so it's like, but if I was a teen, like the only thing I really like from my parents, like when I was a teen, like they never wanted to be my friend. Like it was very clear they were my parents.
That's a good thing.
No, it's a great thing. But it's like, because of that, in my mentality, like when I see like parents that want to be like their kid's friend, I'm like, why?
Sometimes that puts the strain on like being
a parent,
putting the smackdown when you need to be like, look, you need to learn some shit.
But
man.
also,
you always want to be so liked.
I also laugh at the certain things they would have to ground you for, which is just some of it is so silly, but it's like out of like principle, you have to be grounded. But like I might take a bit of fun in it. Like you want to sass me or you think whatever, I'd be like, great. And I would take like your PlayStation and I would just be mashing the keys and you could see it and be like, oh, sorry. I
go into the game that you've saved and just make it like go backwards levels or something.
Oh yeah.
make you
take your little Minecraft game and I think I broke your village. Oh no. Oh.
I've been talking to Snake King over it. He doesn't want to be your friend anymore.
He says he can see the humor in this punishment. So
my parents always had very interesting punishments when I came.
You having to walk around. You told that story on the pod when you just had to keep walking around.
There was that one. There was also one night where I went out to like, so I snuck out of the house after they went to bed.
Yeah.
And we had an alarm system. So I turned the alarm system on, opened a window and hopped out the window. But at some point during the night, in the middle of the night, my mom had got up and been like, oh, the alarm system's off. Better turn it back on. So I went to crawl back in the window and I opened it up and then the alarm goes off in our house. And I was like, I shut the window. I was like, oh, well, here it comes.
Did you just go back into bed quick?
No, I didn't get in the house. So I shut the window before I climbed back through. I had to like, this was a window I had to like climb into. So I shut the window because immediately the alarm goes off. So I went to the front door and I can't remember if I knocked on the door or rang the doorbell. And my parents are like, "What the hell's going on?" And I was like, "It's me." And they're like, "Me the fuck who?" And I'm like,
Your son who you
your
love
son.
and he's sorry?
Yeah. And they opened the door and I was like, "All right, well, what's going on?" And then, so I went in and, got a bit yelled at or whatever. But then I went to go to bed. And as I lied down, the door burst back open. My dad's like, "Okay, so we figured it's either drugs or girls. And either way is not acceptable. So get up. You're not going to sleep. You're going to do all of our laundry until it's done."
Hell yeah.
And that's what I had to do. I had to do laundry until everyone's laundry was done and I couldn't go to bed. And this was probably like 3 or 4 in the morning when I'm like, have tried to crawl back in the window.
That's amazing.
So like they all went back to bed and I'm like, waiting for laundry to get done and shit like that. Like, yeah, smart.
That's amazing. I also just imagined you at the door going, "Petit chaison, petit chaison, bonjour, petit chaison."
At that point, I knew I was busted. So I just remember being like, I wasn't like, if I remember correctly, I wasn't like, "Oh no," I was kind of like,
I
it's
honestly,
me.
I mean, it's just so funny hearing like your parents having a security system. Like, I don't even think we locked the door.
Yeah.
It's like when I was working at Second City and I had my bike for the first time. I was biking in the city with a bike I had from grade 8. And it was so heavy. I could barely get around the city. And I stopped locking it. I was like, "Someone take it."
You come out and there's 3 guys trying to get it onto a truck, but they just can't get it on.
No, never even tried. I ended up donating it, but I was like, "Please,
You got Jerry Seinfeld's car. Please take the car.
please take it. Take the car." All right. Well, we're kind of coming to the end. So do you have any plans for this weekend? I'm just chilling and relaxing.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything of note this weekend.
Oh, wowie.
No.
Wowie zowie. Have you
Well,
watched?
we're at day like 108 or 109 of this thing.
Isn't that
It's
wild?
kind of nuts. There's not a lot changes.
I know it's weird that when we brought it up, we bring it up a bunch, but like, do you remember when we were like, "Hey, let's just do it for the 2 weeks that we're in lockdown. Let's just do this live show."
Yeah. I think I said, I think if we go back, you'll see at one point I go, I apologize to my future self that's sitting here months from now doing this. And here we are. So I'll take that apology. Thank you, past Jason.
I wonder how we've
the apology.
aged. I hope it's nice. I don't know if I'm strong enough to look back.
Snake King just said 5 years later.
Did he? I mean, if this became our full-time job, this would be a wondrous job, and I would be so lucky. Can you imagine? I'm just wearing leopard pajamas on Fridays, drinking gin at like 12:30.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
that's what we all strive for, right? There should be a class in school that teaches you how to do that kind of stuff for a living.
Broadcasting. Also, I just caught a quick look at my top knot. It looks like a snail, and it's unbelievable. I made a painting which is in my office, which
Brag.
is this.
Double brag. Made
Here,
a painting.
I'm gonna
half
pull
an
it
office.
just while we're ending. Look at this.
Is this your erotic paint by numbers?
No. So if you're listening,
Did you ever finish your erotic paint
no,
by
it's still
numbers?
happening. I think I can move the camera a bit and I can show everyone. But so I made this at like a friend's paint night, and I just always thought it was adorable, and I don't know why. So I framed it and I kept it, but it looks exactly like my hair right now, which looks like a snail.
I'm gonna pause you for 1 second. It's beautiful.
No, it's
And this
not.
obviously happened before quarantine because it was a friend's paint night. The amount of crap you've given me in real life and on this podcast for paint lounges.
No, this isn't a paint. This was like with friends
It's
having
the
wine.
same thing.
No, this was a
You were
night
at a
of wine.
friend's painting. You're like, let's go paint and drink some wine. That's what you do at a paint lounge.
No, this is with friends, and we were like, hey, we were,
You
like,
can bring your friends to a paint lounge.
look at that. It's the same hair. Can you see it?
Why is there eyebrows underneath it?
Well, because I'm not a good artist.
But as you show that up, I'm like, is that your forehead then, or is it a snail that you painted?
No, it's like I just dropped it on the floor. It's fine.
No.
It's the joke that a top knot looks like a snail. Jason said
Okay.
it looks like DQ soft serve. And unrelated to that, guess what I had yesterday? Some
DQ.
DQ. I had a treats of pizza, a slice of one,
Whoa, that's like
a peanut
That's
butter
all of it.
cup, slice of treats of pizza.
that's awesome.
It
Do they do
was
slices? That's kind of crazy and weird, and I like it.
No, they don't do slices. It was a slice of. I was given a treat.
No, those are small. You can eat the whole thing. You don't
No,
need
you
to-
can't. Those things are
Wanna-
rich.
This sounds like a bet. You don't think you can eat one whole one of those motherfuckers? Those are
Jason,
easy.
I don't want to talk to you after a full Trizza pizza. I had to go lay on my stomach after the one slice of Trizza pizza. I was like, I gotta go.
You're lactose.
I am. I think I'm a bit lactose. Hate to brag about it. Bit lactose.
Oh, Snake King says treats a pizza with a question mark. Are they not available in the States?
So Dairy Queen, having worked there for many, many years, a Trizza pizza is like the base.
Your father was never prouder than when you worked at Dairy Queen.
Quite honestly, he'll tell you the same thing. Because he would pick me up and I would just get him some buffalo strips. Before you could get buffalo strips, that wasn't off the menu.
My daughter.
Free. The fact that I would steal him food, 6 strips, onion rings. He liked them well done. He wanted the onion rings well done. So he'd call me before the end of my shift, or I'd call him and be like, hey, can you pick me up? He'd be like, 6 strips, buffalo style, blue cheese dressing, well done rings.
I'm so proud of you.
And I was like, say you're proud of me. Say you're proud of me. It's from Tim Robinson's. Have you seen that? When he's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
I love you, sir. Say it.
In his
say
character
it,
sketches.
Yeah.
Obvious, and that's like one of the funniest episodes of TV ever is his character sketch one.
It's so true. Jeff's so freaking cool. If you don't know what we're talking about, please go on Netflix and watch Tim Robinson's. It's called The Characters, which is the series. It's like it features many different sketch artists, but they each get their own episode. And Tim Robinson had
Which
his
is episode 4 or 5 or something like that. I can't remember.
He has it's just the best. And this was before his sketch show, which just got another season, which is very exciting.
Yeah, and before Detroiters. It was his first I think the first foray really into television.
Well, he was a writer on SNL.
Oh, and he was actually on SNL, so I lied.
Yeah, writer and star. I adore him. Anyways, my hair looks like a snail. If you don't know what we're talking about and you're listening to this, you can check us out at youtube.com/theregulars. We are now going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Check us out. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Have the best weekend. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Do something to better the world. We're all trying to do that. Anything else, Jay?
I think next week we'll probably, I know Tulo Sandwiches was here this week as a co-host, but I think we might have some guests come back next week, which would be really nice too.
Hell yes. And we can't wait to do that. I can't wait to have some guests on, have some chitty chats. All right, everyone. I am going to say goodbye. Jason, do you have anything else to say before we leave?
I don't think. Stay safe. And just also because we're back doesn't mean like this whole thing is over as well. Let's, Black Lives Matter is still a big thing. So donate, educate, all that kind of stuff for sure.
Absolutely. Use your platform.
I know that we put it at one point, and I love putting this out there because like it's the same thing that we do, but like other podcasts that are similar to ours, like go listen to things like Adulting and go listen to Nicole Byers' podcast because they're super funny and they're the same vibe. So go check those podcasts out.
Absolutely. Shayla says at the end, Jason should host a paint night. I mean, that might be fun. If one night we do a night live stream where you lead us through a paint lounge, that would be the only way I would ever do it.
I'm in.
All right, you heard it here first.
But I'm not good at it. The reason why I go to paint lounges is because I'm terrible at it. So this is gonna be like somebody that's learning piano, teaching you piano.
Here's the thing: I don't think paint lounge is ever saying, "Hey, come in and get better." I don't think it's like, "Hey, you want to fuck up this canvas and kind of put it in your kitchen for a while." And with that, we will see you on Monday. Bye, friends.
Bye.